Welcome to the SoCal Swordfight Rules Brief video. This is not a comprehensive overview of every rule, however it covers the majority of what you need to know to compete at SoCal. Please review the rest of the rules on our website. Let's begin. This is Zachary. I've trained him to stand here so we can look at how different parts of the body score. The upper opening is the region from shoulder seam across to the other shoulder seam and up, including both the throat and the head. It scores 4 points for both a cut and a thrust. The torso is the region below the upper opening but above the waistline. Many judges may go with the bottom of the coat as the differentiating line. This scores 3 points for a thrust and 1 point for a cut. Everything else scores just 1 point for a cut or a thrust, including the hands, arms, and legs. Feet, however, are off target. Taking a look at the double hit. A double hit is any action where both swords are moving at the same time before impacting the opponents. We can see here examples of strikes where one person clearly initiates, however the opponent responds in time and they strike each other. This is in comparison to the afterblow, in which you have one motion after you have struck your opponent to retreat safely with either your sword in the way or simply a void of the body. The afterblow negates 1 point from the scoring action. Strikes thrown with just the tip of the sword at maximum extension and lacking structure will not be counted. Cuts delivered with the tip, incidental contact, and flailing will not be scored. In order for a cut to be deemed sufficient, it must travel along an arc of at least 75 degrees and be delivered with sound body structure. Striking to the hands is allowed with control and carries the same responsibilities as striking to anywhere else on the body. Any wrapping one-handed blows will not be counted. If the swords contact each other, you must retract to a degree, although this is exaggerated here. You cannot simply slip off of the opponent's sword and tag them. Likewise with thrusts, they cannot be delivered at maximum extension with just the tip hitting. You must either move your opponent back or show some degree of bend in your blade. Slices are scoring actions as appropriate to the target area and control. However, they must exhibit control over your opponent's body by either unsettling their balance or visibly moving them. Simply slicing with no movement is not enough. Turning the back of the head and exposing it is a fault, and you will be warned, as is intentionally targeting the back of the head when fighting your opponent. Intentionally targeting the foot is also not allowed, and you will be warned and potentially removed from the tournament. However, you can target the lower leg. Closed fist punching, kicking, and any other sort of ballistic actions are not allowed, and march logs are not allowed. Competitors are expected to be in control of their weapons at all times. No wild uncontrolled blows, one-handed strikes, or one-handed thrusts. These are all positions which you do not have adequate control over your weapon. Pummel Strikes are scoring actions to the face and mask only, and score for 1 point with a 1 point modifier for control, and are not allowed to the body. Other examples of control points are shown here. A control point is defined as any situation where your blade is in contact with your opponent's blade at the time that it impacts their body. Open thrusting and cutting will not score the control point, including attempts to parry with the arms. However, if the blades make contact, you'll get a point. When disarming, you must show that you could or would strike your opponent, not simply walk away, to ensure we are fighting martially. Likewise, if they drop their weapon, indicate where you could strike. A ring out is defined as both feet leaving the ring at the same time, as is shown here. The open and advanced longsword allow the standing grapple. If you want to throw your opponent, you must do this within a 5 count and remain standing at the end of the action. Any grappling attempts, which result in both opponents falling to the ground, will not be scored. Yep, this is grappling.